Welcome back to Flix, a weekly podcast where we tell you what you should be flipping on. I'm Sam.
I'm Tim.
And I'm Adam.
And we're so glad you're here. So we realize we're a little bit disorganized, and that's okay. We admit it to ourselves and you guys. But last time we forgot to tell you where you can listen to us. So I'm going to tell you now. You can listen to us on Spotify, or you can listen to us on anchor.fm/flipperflix. And we also forgot to tell you that we have a Twitter. So, we have a Twitter. You can find us at Flipperflix. We'll be telling you what each episode's about, kind of previewing it, and just general shenanigans. So, if you like us that much, you can look at us there. We have a great movie for you this week, and Adam's going to tell you more about it.
Yeah, so this week we have the movie Anna. That's the name, Anna. If you're trying to Google it, go ahead, put 2019 after it, because otherwise you're going to get Frozen with Anna and Elsa. I'm going to tell you now, that's a different story. Because here's a quick synopsis. Beneath Anna Poliatova's striking beauty lies a secret that will unleash her indelible strength and skill to become one of the world's most feared government assassins. Ooh.
Wait, what does indelible mean?
Indelible means like super awesome and impossible to get rid of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Basically,
totally
just
didn't.
repeated strength.
Yeah. It's like super strength, right? On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 36% by the critics, and I'm like, oh no, this is gonna go for a ride. But then 81% by audience, so it's got that nice backwards component
You're
to
not
it.
sure what to expect, yeah.
Yeah, no, like
With a review like that, you're like, alright, it's flip a coin, you know? So,
yeah, it's either
That's
gonna be
true.
really good or you're like, who's right on this? The general audience or the critics? Because who knows? But Google Play, it doesn't rent it. We did watch Harry and the Hendersons last week.
Shout
Shout out to Harry and the Hendersons.
great film.
Watch
God,
it
I
via
love that
Google
movie.
Play from renting. But currently, when we're making this podcast, it can only be purchased at $12.99 in 4K with a 4.2 rating. But however, we watched it on HBO. If you have HBO, check it out there.
Or you can see it on Hulu if your HBO is like connected to
Yeah.
Hulu, which is how we actually ended up there. If you saw the category,
Or
Yeah.
you can do free trial, 7 days and cancel, and you'll be good to watch it.
yeah, that's a good
But
idea.
it's never a bad idea. Yeah, so nobody's heard of this movie out of the three of us.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
no.
It flew under the radar. I'll actually get into why it did that later. But what were your guys like before seeing the movie? What did you think of it, Sam? Like,
Oh, I thought it was gonna be trash. I was so excited to watch this movie because I was like, "There's no way it's gonna be good." I didn't hear anything about it, and like we go to the movies fairly often, so I thought like, "Oh, if it came out in 2019, I should have at least heard of it." And also, like on Hulu, the picture that it has for it is so funny. She gives me like Electra vibes,
Right,
because
yeah.
Electra
Oh, yeah.
also like crosses her hands like that, and I heard that movie was trash. So
Mm.
I was just like, this movie's gonna be trash.
time out. She liked Electra. So.
I don't think I saw Electra.
Oh, you told me you liked it.
I liked Daredevil. So
you
they're
liked
the-
Electra in Daredevil.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Which,
But-
that makes
although I'm sure Daredevil is trash now rewatching it, but
No,
we'll have to
it's probably
save that
amazing.
for a different episode. What about you, Tim? What did you think?
I just
Before seeing
expected a bland, unoriginal action movie.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
That's what you were going for?
I mean, yeah, I wasn't expecting much from it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, neither did I. Like, I was like, okay, so we're gonna get an attempt at a female John Wick. That's cool, I guess. But I think Atomic Blonde came out, and that was the same idea.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, didn't
Yeah.
that come out last year too?
Yep, and then also Red Sparrow came out, which is probably much more like closer with that, seeing as Red Sparrow is also set in Russia. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen the movie.
Oh, oops, sorry.
Yeah,
Well, we haven't talked about it yet, so it's okay.
we
Still.
haven't, but like going forward, if you are interested in seeing the movie before we talk about this and go a little nuts, you might want to stop here. But yeah, this movie begins in Russia. It doesn't fully take place there in Moscow. Like it started out pretty interesting. Like they're all speaking Russian, which honestly I was very happy with.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you have that thing. So Adam has this thing about he never understands why they don't speak like the local language. They're always
They
speaking
speak
English in
English
movies.
with an accent.
Yeah.
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 No, that drives me nuts too.
Yeah, so I
It's
thought they did
silly,
a
but
good
it's a pet
job
peeve.
of doing the local language, which was nice. And also, the opening scene takes place in 1980.
85.
Is it
85,
85?
which is 2 years before Harry and the Hendersons came out.
Right?
In case you need some grounding there.
Yeah. To get actual like timing on technology, look back to Harry and the Hendersons.
Yes.
Which, by the way, forgot to say this about that movie. In the credits, they actually thank Bigfoot.
Lols.
Anyways, carrying on with Anna. So I want to let you know, I expected, like, in the trailer, they show one of the big fight scenes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, she's fighting in the restaurant, and that was, honestly, first half of the movie.
Yeah.
I was pretty surprised.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that happened the first half of the movie. And that is actually where my first creative kill comes in.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So during that scene, which she's like in all white and she goes in to go get the guy in the impossible mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
She breaks a plate in half and then uses the plate as a knife. So I have seen people break plates over top of other people's heads, but have you ever seen somebody use plates as like knives?
It's a weapon, and it's like a weapon within a weapon.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then
New to me. Yeah, I don't.
And then my other creative kill is when she takes the like pipe off the bar.
Yeah, I thought I
Just impales the dude.
Yeah.
So for me, that one I kind of cringed at because I was like, the fuck you just pull that off the bar? Like,
yes.
You're telling me a 90-pound woman just ripped this bar off of the structure? And I don't know. That one was a little far-fetched for me. Like, it was a little too much.
Yes, I agree, but it's still creative.
Very, very different style of murder.
Yeah.
For sure.
In the first degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question for you guys. So now that we talked about our thoughts before it, what are your thoughts after it?
I would say it was pretty good. It surpassed my expectations. What about you, Adam?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting much, but like it has a bit of a thriller element to it, more than just an action movie.
Right.
There's a story there.
Yeah, it turned out to be more of a spy thriller, which was interesting. It had more of a James Bond sort of feel, Kingsman sort of feel, not the comedy of Kingsman, but yeah, I don't know.
It was more than just an action.
Right.
One part about the movie that did throw me off was they just kept jumping around in time. At the beginning, they're like 1985, 1990, 1987. And then they just go 4 years later, 3 years before. I'm like,
6
I'm trying
months,
to
3 months,
yes,
7 months.
And I'm
You're
just like
wait,
trying to keep track of when this movie took place.
Yes, yeah. I was hoping they could have like stuck with a timeline structure. Like we're either going to tell you years or we're going to tell you months or years, right? You're either going to say 1987 or 1982. We're not going to be like 1987. Oh wait, 6 months. Like there's a lot of math involved in this movie.
Yeah, at least 7 maths.
I think in the end they ended around like 1992 or close to it or something. I don't even know, but that's just like a guesstimation. I
don't know. They all had cell phones that were not the size of a horse.
Right, yeah.
That's true. And the laptop, like while it was pretty boxy, it could have looked worse.
Yeah. I don't know. I was pretty surprised with all the technology, and I'm like, well, this is KGB. You know, KGB, baby.
Yeah, I'm KGB, baby.
So yeah, there's my favorite quote in the movie is KGB, baby.
Yeah.
When Helen Mirren throws that back in her face, or should I say Olga?
Olga.
Yeah. Do you guys ever catch yourself just saying like Helen Mirren instead of like her actual character's name? Like.
Yeah, well, because I don't think.
Nope.
I mean, maybe they did.
They said her name like 3 or 4 times.
Really? Okay. I was like, I don't know.
Okay. So going forward with that, do you know who Luke Evans played?
Alexia something
I'm guessing,
or other.
Yeah.
It is Alexei Chenkov.
Yeah. Did they ever say his last name?
I don't know, but it was on IMDb.
So yeah.
Yeah, and then Cillian Murphy, he's the Batman guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, who did he play?
The CIA guy.
You just call him as the guy that played Scarecrow.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna call him this entire episode.
the entire episode, the entire time we watched it. Oh, there's the guy that played Scarecrow. I'm like, I'm aware. Come on.
I do
I
like
don't know
him,
his
but
name.
I admit that I'm not good with actors' names usually, so I don't know his name off the top of my head.
Sam's in love with Luke Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he
Was
played
that
Gaston.
Alexi? Yeah. Oh, him as Gaston. Yep, that was great.
But yeah, Cillian Murphy played Lenny Miller.
That was his name? Lenny?
Lenny
Name?
fucking
I didn't think his
Miller.
name was Lenny.
Well, they definitely call him Agent Miller constantly.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
Good job, Agent Miller. Good job.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite character was probably Piotr.
Oh, the first guy,
Yeah, at the very beginning, her boyfriend, where he had that awesome tattoo that says "Gott mit uns," God
Yeah.
with us.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask you what that meant because that was a horrible tattoo.
Yeah, it's cool. It was used by Germany during World War II.
Oh.
No big deal.
Well, and then he also had a tattoo on his back that was like a skull and crossbones, I think.
But it was guns.
It was really cartoony looking.
He's super edgy.
I mean, he was very charactery.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts about that guy is that he stuck that American Express credit card
Yes.
into the ATM, and I'm like, I mean, you can get like cash forwarded, but it doesn't typically work like that.
Right.
Yeah, did they even have the concept of cash back in 1980 something?
You mean card?
Like,
you have it backwards. They had cash.
No, I'm saying like,
wait.
So you know how you have a credit card, right? And now we have cash back option?
Oh, you mean like the cash forwarding option?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't know. I wasn't alive then.
Although I will say she was like, she knows, like when they were talking about the ATM, they were like, she knows where one is. So it seemed like there was one thing. And then they happened to find a guy that had a card that could go to it, I guess.
Well, I'm going to guess that a guy with a Mercedes back in...
I mean, you don't know. I mean, just because they got a Mercedes doesn't mean they...
They could be car poor.
Yeah. That's true. This is awfully convenient. There's only one ATM in the whole city, and you manage to find somebody with a bank card that works
Not only that, but
ATM.
they're foreign.
Right.
Yeah.
So...
Who knows about
maybe
that?
that would be the type of person that would have something you like more commonly has one. I don't know. Maybe there's something there to it, but I think there's a lot of that in this movie that a lot of it's just handed to the storyline, just to keep the story going. There's a lot of that in this movie, which I always have issues with, but it's whatever. There's a storyline. You got to stick to it somehow.
That's true.
So like when Luke Evans like just appears in that room before he kills Piotr.
Mm-hmm.
Again, sorry, spoiler. Did you guys think it was going to be human trafficking?
No.
Oh, I definitely did.
It
had that feel.
Not when he was in the room with her, but when the guy came up to her in the stall, or like the marketplace.
Oh, that's the scene, yeah.
I don't know. It was just like awfully convenient. Like, yeah, I run a modeling agency.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be great. And then, like, when he actually ships her off to Paris and they get there and the apartment's, like, full of girls, until you actually see, like, the girls living their normal lives, like, when you see that it's, like, a piece of shit apartment, you're like, oh, is she gonna die here?
Yeah, is this where the KGB comes and saves her?
Is this a dark backstory?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, for me, I have problems in movies with, like, somebody coming out of nowhere that has no skills in a certain area and all of a sudden being very good at those things in a very brief amount of time.
Yeah. Right.
I'm okay with like gunplay. That can be taught pretty effectively, pretty quickly. Like that's not a hard concept for somebody that has a natural ability towards it to grasp and be pretty good at if you're shooting thousands of rounds, for a long period of time. Like it just that it'll if you're natural towards it, it's gonna happen. You're fine, whatever. Fighting, sure. But I understood later, like after the first little bit and they came back to that part of her life that she knew multiple languages, when she was selling the dolls there, and it kind of came together as to why they picked her, and it made more sense to me than like a movie normally would, where they're just like, they take a random person, all of a sudden they're just a complete badass out of nowhere with no training or something like that. Like as much as I like the movie, I'm going to throw this under the bus, Hunger Games, that was always a little off to me because like Katniss was just badass at everything, and like for no reason. So
Yeah.
as much as I liked those movies, but this had a better way of showing that she was trained and the reason behind her being exceptional at these things and why they picked her and that she wasn't just some random person that they were like, oh, you're attractive, we're going to use you for this mission kind of thing. So
Right. Hell, they didn't even want her to be attractive.
Right.
Yeah.
Olga's like, this is violent, don't get the attractive ones.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and I will say along those lines, I found myself writing down notes and then 20 minutes later, I'd have to scratch them out because it was oh yeah, this is so confusing. This is awfully convenient. And then they actually explain it. And I'm like, well, good on them for explaining enough.
Right. They catch you up, which is part of that jumping around thing that was a little weird, I thought. But it was a weird, you have questions and then they would jump 6 months and you'd have the answer.
Yeah.
And then they'd go back another year and a half and then they'd do something else and you're like, what the hell? And then they'd jump another 8 months or something, and you'd have your answer. So that was still a little weird, I think. But
the scene where she's about to get it on with Russian Jason Statham.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I called him.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah.
His name is Oleg in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, why the fuck is she killing this dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, because at that point you didn't know. But also, a very real reason why she could have been killing him that early was because his apartment was bomb-ass.
That was a hotel room.
Oh, I thought that was
when they said we got all the hotel tapes on you?
Well, anyway, it was a nice hotel room with the view of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
So if he had it paid for a couple weeks or months and she just wanted to squat there, I mean, that would have been worth the kill.
Yeah, one, we were talking about how the timing's confusing, but at least they do a good job at showing, hey, here's the Eiffel Tower back in Paris. Right. Here are the spires in Moscow, so you're back in Russia.
Yeah. You understand you're in a different location, different time. Yeah.
That's true, because I was worried about it because they didn't actually have
they didn't
Moscow written on there most movies do. They made you think a little bit harder about it.
But yeah, so deep down inside, you guys realize that Anna is a Disney princess. Both her parents died tragically
True.
when she was young.
True.
Yeah.
And she's an expert at something. Yeah, clearly Disney princess material.
Big true.
Yeah.
Just new Anna. Sorry. Anna from Norway or... We got a new Anna
Step
in town.
aside, Anna from Russia.
Yeah.
She'll murder you, without a doubt.
So one of the things that I thought was interesting was when they mail Scarecrow Dude the head, which I think is towards the beginning.
It is
very beginning. Literally the first scene.
Yeah. Okay. Did you guys notice that the package looks like USPS packaging?
It does.
And it literally just has Russian characters on it.
Yep.
I just have doubts that that's what that looks like.
Yeah, that was a little...
Or looked like back in 1985.
Right. I think the idea was just to be very obvious that it was mailed.
Yeah.
Not that it was just some random package. I think that was the
But
idea
it was still suspect, right?
Yeah, it was just weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Sam.
Yeah.
You gonna go call up Russia? Got your time phone?
Can you just show me what your mail service packages looked like?
Now, Sam, you're talking about fashion and Harry and the Hendersons. These are around the same time. What'd you think? Did her fashion show, outfits look like they belonged in the 1980s and early 90s?
That's a good question. I think her regular clothing was right, and I would say her modeling clothing was probably pretty right. One of the first scenes, I think, where they're playing, Pump Up the Jam or something for the montage.
Yeah.
Shout out to the music for this movie because it's awesome. Those just looked like total high fashion outfits, which I thought were great. But then also, I have some more beef with this movie.
She's got the beef.
When they're all doing their dressing gown shoot or whatever, and she's being a grumpy face and basically annihilates the photographer.
That guy was hilarious.
Right, but how does she get jobs after that? I understand that you're part of the KGB and they're gonna make stuff happen for you, but you clearly then see her going on other modeling gigs, and I'm I just don't see how they would want to hire you if you beat up the photographers, right?
Well, and also
it's a one-off incident.
in that scene, it's implied that she's gone off the rails before, maybe not to that extent, because she's standing there and the one girl's like, "Don't move."
Yeah, she's
And then
like,
she
don't
goes
do
and
it.
does her thing. Yeah, it's clear. It's almost clear to you that you're like, okay, so she has a problem with like time frame and being held over to the time she's supposed to and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Also, it's a great alibi being a fashion model.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like, I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah, you could always be.
Well, now, technically, what was it, miscongeniality?
Oh yeah, she was like a police officer and whatever, a Miss America.
Miscongeniality.
Right, like
Contest.
a pageant person.
Not-
Not really
not
a
a
model.
model.
But close.
I mean,
Same realm.
About as close as you're gonna get,
Yeah, that's true.
to my knowledge.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever actually watched that movie.
What? 1990s?
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list.
Please no.
Yeah, Tim, I think I found you your next birthday present.
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you know what it is? Helen Mirren's, also known as Olga's grenade.
I was gonna
lighter?
say that thing was dope.
That
I
thing is-
wrote that down. That grenade
I was-
lighter was dope. I thought that was badass.
I was like, A, where did you
She-
get that? And that's an
she-
awesome prop. Did you get to
Probably
keep
made
it?
Like, I imagine Olga's such a badass that she freaking made that thing.
Yeah. Did you catch that she straight up, like, she stepped on a bear trap
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
in Siberia, walked some stupid amount of miles. If they said miles, that's a plot hole, because Russia doesn't use miles. They
I don't
they
think
use
they
the
do.
metric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, she walked, and then now she carries a screwdriver around with her at
Right.
all times.
PTSD. Yeah.
She got
learned.
screwed.
Uh,
Yeah, I just loved that, and then I loved the fact that she had that lighter, man.
Yeah, that lighter was.
Yeah.
Yep, I was gonna bring that up.
Sam's birthday's coming up, and the gift I'm getting her are that jacket and that hat that Anna
Oh,
walked
yeah?
into the restaurant
I was
with.
gonna say
She could not walk away without it. Like,
that
she
she
might have
put
been on
on to
time.
walk out with it as well.
Yes!
I know. I just was dying when she just puts that back
That
on.
was
I'm like,
great.
oh my god.
Well, and also the way she puts it on. Like, she just smacks her hat on there like she
Oh,
doesn't
you can tell she doesn't care. She's just like, I gotta put it back on, kind of
I just
mentality.
gotta get it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a prop from one of her model shoots.
Probably.
And she, like, had to
Definitely,
get
yeah.
it back.
Well,
Although,
no, she wasn't a model yet. This was before then. This was her test before she became a model.
Okay, well, maybe she stole it from a store and she wanted to
Yeah.
return it. And now she can't because it's stained in blood.
Yeah, hopefully the KGB pays well, you know? Who knows?
It's hard to tell, because, like, she has some nice outfits, but are they KGB
They pay in
provided?
bullets.
And
They pay in bullets?
Yeah.
And her apartment was
No,
not
I think
that
it'd be
nice.
vodka.
Oh yeah, or vodka.
I don't think it has to do with KGB. I think if you need the money, they'll get you something for what you need to do. But in the
Yeah.
end, she has an income of some kind that's not super great.
Yeah,
guess.
I
don't
do
know.
gotta say, my biggest disappointment was the fact that, like, Fyodor and his crew were not repping them Adidas jumpsuits like that you
Right.
always see online.
Right. Maybe they were trying to stay away from that sort of stereotype.
Maybe they didn't get the sponsorship from Adidas like they wanted.
Right. Yeah.
But, like, do you know why that Russians wear that? Like, well, I don't know for a fact, but the rumor is
You don't.
that I don't want to state a fact. I want to state what I read on the internet because
Okay.
that's not always true.
Because it's a stereotype.
Yeah, I know. So back in the day, countries couldn't necessarily trade during the Cold War with Russia
Mhm.
because 1985 was still Cold War territory.
Right.
But yeah, so Adidas would trade their clothing with them because Russia still wanted it, but they couldn't pay with money, so they traded vodka.
Nice.
I believe it was Smirnoff vodka to be exact.
Nice.
So
Getting crunk.
getting crunk.
Interesting.
Yeah. So speaking of Russia and vodka, in Archer, Tim, I know you're a big Archer fan.
We had to bring this up.
They always have a bottle of vodka whenever they're
They
in
do.
Russia. It's great. And there's a movie called Death of Stalin. They're always drinking vodka.
That's true.
But yeah, Archer, I want to say that Anna kind of resembles Katya.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
But wasn't Katya from Bulgaria?
No, she's Russian.
Oh.
She's Russian KGB to be exact.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to that show enough, apparently.
No, I watched the episode last night. I got some inspiration from this. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back, watch Barry Fall, and
Nice.
enjoy my time watching Archer.
Well, I have some more beef with this movie.
Oh, yeah?
Shocker.
Yeah, you're opening up a farm?
Yeah, almost. I'm almost there already.
Yeah.
It goes along with Piotr, whatever.
Sure.
He makes it look super easy to drive the wrong way on a crowded road. And I think that all action movies do this, but I must say, like, I've never done that. However, I would think that it is not as easy as they make it look. Like, they acted like there were, like, no cars on the road, or if they could, like, swerve in between them super easily. And I don't see that.
Tim?
Thoughts?
You do it ever?
I think that's part of kind of the skill set they're supposed to, like, have learned.
If you're going to be in an action movie, you have to be able to drive on the wrong side of the road.
Because I can say, like, when you learn to drive tactically, yeah, you do drive backwards, but not to the extent that you're going to be going miles backwards. You know, I mean, a lot of the movements are the same, but I would imagine that at some point instinct and reaction would take over. Unless you're driving like that a lot to get muscle memory and stuff down, I would imagine that at some point you're going to make a mistake thinking I got to go right and you go left on accident.
Oh, yeah. Well, Sam was specifically talking about, you were talking about driving on the wrong side, still going forward.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
just a bunch of cars, like, coming at you.
I missed that part. Yeah, because I was trying to remember where they went backwards, and I was really confused.
He's like, wait a minute.
He's like,
I was
okay,
like,
I'm
they
going
don't
to
remember to go
try.
backwards. But,
I'm going to try and explain this one.
I don't think that's an issue, going straight and dodging cars. No.
No.
Tim does it all the time.
The problem to me would be the other drivers would hit you.
Right.
You hitting them. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they just, like, part the Red Sea, and it's totally fine, which is, like, there's no way people are that good at drivers. Sorry.
Yeah. No. And to be honest with you, that whole car chase scene, I feel like was just added because every action movie has to have a
at least one, right?
Yeah, you know, and you got, because it's just like, it's so classic for an action movie to have a car chase scene that you have to have it. It's almost like required if you're going to be any sort of action movie, whatever, you have to have a car chase scene. And this one, to me, felt very forced into the movie, but
the director, Luke Besson, Besson, I'm going to call him Besson.
Mm-hmm.
He did Taken, Transporter movies.
Ah, okay. This is starting to check out.
These are, like, this is his realm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taken was terrible, though.
So I wonder if he tried... It was.
Hot take.
I was just going to bulldoze over that and say that.
I enjoyed the first one, but, I mean, as they went on, they were
okay.
Did we really need more of the same story?
You know they made a TV series.
No.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
there's a Taken TV series. Not an Anna TV series. Not yet, there's
coming.
not. I don't know if there will be, because the reason why we never heard about this movie is because Luke Besson was accused of sexual misconduct during production. So all the production agencies, like, pulled out of, like, their marketing. So this movie just kind of appeared and went away.
Okay, so it was, like, almost a straight-to-video movie.
Almost a straight-to-video movie.
But they were like, nah, we're still going to put it in theaters.
It made $30 million in the box office. I don't know I didn't look up the budget, though.
Okay. I was like...
But it most likely busted because there's a lot of scenes that look like they cost some money.
Yeah. Well, and this Besson dude, I think that maybe he might have tried to get Jason Statham as that one guy and failed. So he's like, who's the next best guy that looks like Jason Statham? You're good enough.
Andrew Howard.
Yes, Andrew Howard. You are good enough.
I don't think Jason Statham could do a good, convincing Russian accent.
No?
So
He couldn't be like, St. Petersburg is the window of you. I can't do a Russian accent.
I just have a feeling that he's no.
But did you know that St. Petersburg is the window to Europe?
No.
Even though I'm pretty sure it's technically still in Europe. Like, that part of Russia.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of geography, when we went to Prague this last year, I learned that the Czech Republic was created in 1993. And what was his name? It was Agent Miller. He was just like, we could have shipped you in a bag off to the Czech Republic. And I'm like, it didn't exist. It was still Czechoslovakia. Get your facts straight, bro.
They didn't have time to look that up.
Nerd detail.
To me, that's a good catch. That's also the movie probably just trying to be lazy and so, like, place something on the map so that people might recognize it when they hear it right now.
Yeah, they should have said Poland.
You know.
That didn't have any changes in the last 20 years. in their names.
Well, speaking of Agent Miller, can I just talk about my favorite quote from this movie?
Yeah, go
he
for it.
He has so many good ones. However,
he's good. Mm-hmm.
I think that this one is my favorite one.
Oh, as she pulls it out all fancily, blowing in the wind.
All right, I've got my best Agent Miller voice on now. Usually I do things very civilly, but it's been a fucking week. And that's just a big mood for me, like, all the time.
All the time.
I can really relate to that.
No, that was great.
I was like, yes, I approve. He officially skyrocketed to my favorite character at that moment.
Yeah. He and Olga were my favorite characters for sure.
Mr. Lenny Miller was your favorite too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Lenny
Miller.
Well, coming back to him, I think, I guess I'll ask this first. Did you guys have any thoughts on predictability of the movie? Like, was it very, like, oh, okay, this is going to happen next, okay, blah, blah, blah. Like, did you have any sort of, were you predicting the movie?
I wasn't, but I'm not very good at that. But I will say towards the end, you can kind of, like, catch on.
Oh, I totally called the Olga thing.
Yeah.
At the end, I'm like, I bet Olga's there.
I mean, that was one of the most obvious tropey things, I think, but or whatever cliche. Sort of
they weren't just gonna offer.
But at the beginning, for me, I think it was skipping around too much for me to, like.
Oh yeah, no, I was still being like.
No, the very beginning, yeah, they were like throwing you off, but I think at one point it was. I just started guessing everything that was going to happen with each character. But I find myself trying to do that in movies anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I do it all the time.
But, like,
Sam hates
as soon as they showed Miller and he walked out and left her, I was like, no, he's coming back. He's going to be watching her the whole time, kind of thing. And I was like, he's going to show up again. He's going to catch her, and then she's going to become a double agent of some kind. Or, like, the whole time I was like, she's some kind of double agent, and she could have been from the beginning. I don't know, kind of thing. And then, like, obviously Olga noticed when she's like supposed to cut the finger or whatever that
was the best
and she knew
scene of the movie.
Where she comes back in, I need his fucking finger.
I know, I loved that.
Well, I really just loved that Lenny Miller rises to the occasion. He's like, fine, take his finger.
Cut his fucking finger off. I was just like, oh shit, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, what else was she going to do? The KGB would have just offed her so fast. So furious.
Yeah. True.
Oh, there's more to come on that later.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
I got a thing on, like, the action part. So, learning skills or having skills very abruptly and being good at something I've noticed, especially with Taken and, older action movies and stuff. I really hate cuts in movies to make things look like they're more active and people to like show moves that people can't actually do. They do cuts really quickly in between a fight scene or shake the camera, kind of thing to throw you off to make it look like there's a lot more going on than there is, or if somebody can't do a certain maneuver, they cut through it,
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I have like an issue with Taken is because Liam Neeson can't actually fight.
He can do swordplay because he was actually like when he did Star Wars,
right?
He was actually like doing sword fighting with the lightsabers,
right? And that's the kind of stuff I like, but I hate when. So this movie was good because it didn't cut, which I like that. As much as I thought the fight scene was a little felt very choreographed, it came together well because they didn't cut and it seemed like everybody was kind of doing what they knew how to do.
Yeah.
So, like, are you saying you would have paused the movie and told us that, like, you could have choreographed the fight scenes better? Nah, see, you could have done a punch right there rather than a roundhouse kick.
Oh, shit.
You walked yourself right into that one, man.
Yeah, I did.
He's laughing because he does think that.
Yeah, no. He's like, probably could have.
He's like, I'm not gonna say.
I'm not gonna. He has not said no yet.
I have no skill in that area
at this moment. But then we'll just montage you, and you'll get it.
Yeah, we'll put up.
Yeah, we'll just do a bunch of cuts.
Yes, we'll do pump up the jam.
We'll be like, pump up the jam, pump it
and we'll
up.
let you do it. Look for that on our Twitter.
Yeah, Tim, we need you to like do some roundhouse kicks. We're gonna put them on the twits.
Yeah.
I don't know that my body can do that.
I know, he hit 30 and he's just like
I'm not very flexible.
Get some yoga in beforehand. Boom done. But I just want to go back to Lenny Miller. This guy taught me a new word, and Sam, I believe.
Yes.
I did not I mean, it makes sense.
Indelible.
No, no. The synopsis taught me that word.
This movie has been a vocab lesson.
Exfiltrate. Like, I've never had to use that word.
That before?
I've heard infiltrate.
I've heard infiltrate a lot.
Yeah.
But I've never actually, like, straight up heard the word exfiltrate. And he said it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I think that was like, he got a piece of candy every time he said
He's
it.
like, I'm going to be there when we exfiltrate you. I'm going to exfiltrate you myself.
Listen. Every time you sprinkle in exfiltrate, we'll give you a goodie.
Exactly.
Exactly.
If you can sprinkle that in, we'll give you
Yeah. So question for you two. How many kills do you think Anna had throughout the movie? Just Anna, and I know at one point they say you have 27 confirmed kills. I'm talking about only ones that you see on the TV.
Tim, I'll let you take this one first.
I didn't count. My only thought was there's no way you do all that and not have multiple nations noticing you.
That is very true.
No way that she wasn't being hunted, and why didn't we see some of that? You know, like, why wasn't there just, she's an assassin, but somebody would have caught on.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like, John Wick does the same thing.
Yeah, but that's a little different, because he's not targeting, like, politicians, leaders, stuff like that, or people do it, you know what I mean? It's all other assassins kind of thing, and, like, it would have made sense to see her, like, have to kill, like, randomly another assassin coming for her or something, you know?
But so how many would you guess?
How many would I guess? 50 or so.
Oh, that's a pretty good guess, Sam. You've already seen the answer.
Yeah, but I already forgot the answer.
She's Dory over here, guys.
So I'm going to go with 60.
Okay, so it's 54, give or take a few.
Okay.
Because I didn't count, like, when she just shoot somebody in the knee.
Yeah, because you don't know.
We don't know if they're going to die.
Yeah.
But she usually went back and shot them.
I was going to say, I legitimately noticed that she did a ton of double tapping. She's ready for the zombie apocalypse. Let's get her out here. But it's 54 plus a finger.
That's true.
Plus a finger, yeah.
That finger was just amazing. But like that ending scene, though, when when everybody just comes out from both sides.
Mm-hmm. In the park?
In the park. That was great. You got Stretching Guy. Loved him.
Oh,
yeah, that guy was great.
Stretching. And then there's the guy on the bridge with the giant-ass binoculars.
Yeah.
You're like, bro.
Well, I also loved that they're sitting there, and then both the teams come up, and they're telling each other, oh, you're going to leave first, or I insist, or, you got to clear a way out. And clearly, like, I don't know if this is just stereotypical or what, but the U.S. government comes in all swatted up.
The
Russian dudes are all in leather jackets and jeans.
I know. They went full stereotype. Loved every second of that.
I wasn't sure if it was like, were we somewhere? I don't know. It's just weird.
They're just in a park in Paris.
It was funny. Yeah.
I also have some more beef with that scene. So.
Beef?
I got beef with that scene. I tell you.
You're starting a restaurant?
For sure. So when she dies, supposedly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You see, like, I guess it's maybe the U.S. was looking through the binoculars. Somebody was looking through the binoculars. And you're seeing, like, the paramedics come and all that. And there's a couple that walks by. And they don't even, like, look over. They don't even, like, give it a glance. They're just, like, on the scene, like, walking forwards. Like, they see dead bodies in the park all the time. They're not, like, worried about it. Like, I don't know. Just from, like, accidents on the road, people are, like, looky-looing and rubbernecking, right? And to think that there wouldn't be somebody, like, that was, like...
a crowd appearing.
A crowd appearing, or at least if people we know are walking by, they don't at least, like, glance over at a girl just, like, did they think she was sleeping? Like, what do you think?
You're sleeping. That's a lot of blood. I'm sure you're okay.
You're good. I'm fine.
We're not worried about it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good catch. I didn't even notice that.
So going back to the characters, I like to go through and see where we think we might have seen these guys before.
Yes.
Anna, she's played by an actress called Sasha Luss.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She's been in one other movie, Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets.
Oh, I heard of that one. I never saw it.
Yeah, I didn't.
I liked it.
It was
You
good.
liked it?
Yeah, I liked it. I can see why people wouldn't, but that's my type of movie.
I don't think she was the main actress though.
She wasn't.
Yeah, and she's been in a Kanye West music video before.
Nice.
Olga is Helen Mirren,
Obviously.
which I bet everybody knows her from specifically Fate of the Furious.
No.
Yeah, she's in Fate of the Furious.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
And then Alex Cheknov is played by Luke Evans. Dracula Untold. He's Gaston in Beauty and the Beast.
Yep. God, it's a good movie. All right.
Probably my favorite role for him, sorry Tim, is Bard when he's in The Hobbit.
Yeah, he's good in that.
I know there's some hate for the Hobbit series.
Huh.
I enjoy them for what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also a villain in, or I don't know if he's a villain. I've not seen the Fast and the Furious series. I've seen the first one, I know, parts of the second, but he's in Fast and the Furious 6.
So did they just stop?
I've seen it.
Did they just stop production on the Fast and the Furious and just move some people over to this movie?
Well, this was 6. This was like 10 years ago, dude.
Okay.
They're on 10 now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't.
And then they have a spin-off of
Hobbs and Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
Now, fun fact about Luke
From
Evans
Fast
and
and
Helen Mirren. Luke Evans' character in Fast and the Furious is the son of Helen Mirren's character.
Wow.
Lols.
Yeah, I know, right? Then we have Lenny Miller here, Cillian Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
He's in 28 Days Later. I think that was like maybe one of his first big movies.
I could see that because that movie's kind of old.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I enjoy. That's a good one too. He's in Peaky Blinders. I feel like that's his thing right now.
Yes.
Batman. He's the Scarecrow.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Inception. Dunkirk. If you didn't catch the last 3, Christopher Nolan likes him.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you ever hear a boom, it's Christopher Nolan. And Cillian Murphy has a good chance of being in the film, apparently.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I think I nailed the blom.
Mm-hmm.
So I always wondered, just to hit on the blah, what kind of how they make those sounds. It's a very interesting instrument.
Oh, you looked it up?
Yeah, it's very cool. It uses, if it's the same one I looked up, crystal, or I think they're glass rods connected to these giant. They're not even they're shaped like speakers, but they're flattened out a little bit, kind of thing. And you have to get your fingers wet and you touch them. You touch the glass rods. And it vibrates and makes that wah noise kind of thing. Yeah, I watched way too many videos of that.
Did you go down a YouTube rabbit hole?
When I discovered what it was.
Nice.
It's very cool.
He's like, I must know.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a very cool instrument.
Nice. So, continuing on with the characters, you got Maude. She's the girlfriend.
Oh, yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah, she's not in anything. This is literally her only film.
Oh, okay.
Good for her. Good for her. Gotta get started somewhere.
Seen her.
The guy who played Piotr is Alexander Petrov. He's in a lot of Russian movies.
Okay.
Oh, really?
So they actually got a nice Russian actor to play the Russian character. I was pretty happy to hear about that. And then Russian Jason Statham, also known as Oleg.
He's in a lot. Yeah.
Andrew Howard is in Limitless. I don't know who. I think he's the villain.
He is?
Yeah, he's got to be
The villain. He's got that villain face.
I've seen him in other stuff, and he's usually portrayed that way. Yeah.
If you've seen HBO's Watchmen, he's in that.
Oh, okay.
And he's in Hulu's The Oath.
Okay.
I've not seen either of those, but I just kind of scroll through their IMDb because.
Well, and those are recent.
Yeah, and those are recent, so I'm kind of curious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So those are the main ones that I caught. Like, I'm sure there are other people in other films doing great things out there.
True.
Luke Besson, I already said, the director. He's done a bunch of other different movies like Taken and the Transporters type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it? What's the other one Jason Statham is in? Or is he only in Transporter?
No, he's in a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I meant like Hitman sort of stuff.
He's a very, what do they call it?
Typecast.
Not tropey. Typecast, yeah. He's in a lot of garbage movies.
Hey, Sam here is obsessed with, what was that one car movie that he's in?
The Italian Job.
Italian Job.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good movie.
He's not the main character in that.
No.
It plays in his favor, probably.
Yeah.
He's still the car guy.
Yeah.
Fun. But yeah, so that's really... Do you guys have anything else on the film that you wanted to touch base on, Sam? Flip through your notes. Hurry.
I just had another Scarecrow quote or
yeah?
Agent Miller quote.
Lenny Miller.
I mean, it ranks below.
I've had a fucking week.
Yes, it ranks below that.
That's great.
But it was when he's talking about where, like, she can go, right? He's like, where do you want to go?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you could go to Arizona, which is supposed to be a dry heat.
I've never been there, though.
I've never been there, so I wouldn't know. I mean, I obviously butchered that quote, but I just thought that was funny. Because he's just like...
It was funny.
So, I don't know, like, straightforward. And that's just, like, how he came
and...
off in a lot of the things. And
in all honesty, Arizona's probably one of the safer spots for her.
Yeah.
Not Hawaii.
I will say he stole the scenes a lot.
He did.
Like,
he did a great
very
job.
Much did. And his character was very, like, everything was consistent with his character throughout. Like, yeah, especially because he was like, yeah, Arizona, it's hot. It's a dry heat. I would know, I've never been, kind of thing.
I wouldn't really know. I'm not bad.
Like, that's how he was the whole time. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah, it was great.
Also,
yeah,
what was up with the way she holds her bag? I want to come back to that. It gave it away.
It was a bullshit thing.
It's the way you held your bag.
I mean, obviously, it was just showing that he's good at his job, pays attention to stuff.
I know. I was like,
it was a bullshit reason.
I'm going to watch out for girls carrying her bag like that. They might murder me.
It was a way of saying he could recognize her mannerisms because he's been following her for so long.
Yeah.
That the bag was a huge giveaway, when in reality, it's how she carried herself. It's just an easier way to say it. It's just to point out one big thing than saying, like, oh, yeah.
That's true.
That was my thought on it. I had no issue with that.
Any more quotes, Sam?
No, that was all I had.
Yeah, Tim?
Shame.
I know, I'm sorry.
For shame. I'm going to just bring up the bells.
I couldn't take any more after I had the week quote, because I was like, that's it. That's the best one.
KGB, baby.
Yeah.
Tim?
No, I think overall it was good. I mean, for what it was, for not knowing anything about it, I didn't watch the trailer.
Oh, we did.
I didn't, because I was like, I want to jump into it. It's not gonna.
He's just like, I want to just
dive
terrible. Right in.
I need to get this over with.
It's gonna be another regular action movie.
Texting you last night, being like, "You seen it yet?" Because it was a ride. Tried to throw you off with Mr. Bones' Wild Ride there. Yeah. So Tim, were you saying you would flip it on?
I'd say if you're looking for something to watch that isn't unoriginal, yeah, flip it on.
It's on HBO. You can flip it on there. Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam's is a yes. She has a lot of beef with the film.
Because of Miller.
Just because.
Flip it on.
She's like, if Lenny Miller was not in this film.
Well, I do think like you would have lost some of the comedy, but I would say that I would flip it on. Besides for Agent Miller, I think that
Agent Lenny Miller.
That just kind of what we were talking about at the beginning. I wasn't expecting it to be very good. I really was expecting it to be trash. I really was expecting to hate it. And then, like, when you get in, I actually thought it was a lot of fun. And while it was predictable at some point, I still think, like, the way that they did the timeline and skipping around, as annoying as it was, like, I think it kind of preserved some of the story and it made it more interesting. And it's really kind of what you were saying, Tim, like everything you can kind of hope for in an action film, right? In an espionage movie, like people are betraying each other. There's like your token car chase, everything that you're looking for.
But they didn't have the token explosion, did they?
I don't.
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
they did?
Wait. Okay.
Hold on. I'm thinking.
I'm
remembering an explosion, but now I'm picturing, I think it's a different movie.
Yeah? Because I was like, Michael Bay did not direct this, so...
You might be right. Which, to be honest with you, is more realistic that there isn't an explosion.
I know. Like, explosions...
Which is better,
in
my opinion. But, yeah, now that I think about it, what am I picturing? I'm picturing two guys walk... Oh, Breaking Bad. I watched it afterwards. Never mind. Carry on.
Yeah, that's a bit different, but... Yeah.
So it's missing an explosion, but otherwise it kind of checks all the boxes for action and espionage. So I would flip it on. What about you, Adam?
I'd say I'd flip it on. I easily like films though, and I enjoyed it. So like a lot of times I will flip something on just because I enjoy it. Like I don't need to go in all the plot holes. Even though Czechoslovakia was around and not Czech Republic, that stuff doesn't ruin the movie for me. It's just fun for me to catch, honestly. I don't know.
So that's 3 more flip it ons.
Flip it.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I would say if I have to rank movies, Harry and the Hendersons is still
I
one.
was waiting for it. You gonna say what? You said Harry?
Yeah.
Harry's number one?
Not for me.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
I would watch this. I would watch this over Harry.
Wow.
No, I would. I liked Harry, but
my goodness.
it grasps my attention more than Harry did.
Well, yeah, we were.
Harry had some dead points, but that's
so like that's what I'm saying is like I would sit down and watch this more than I would watch Harry.
Okay.
Yeah, you like being confused more than anything.
Yeah. Maybe one day I can write out the whole timeline and be like, I don't know when it is. Because the technology apparently is all messed up. Stuff is out years before it is. And the point where they like...
Yeah, it's a spy agency.
I know. Then there's the point where they do like the copy over on the hard drive. I was reading something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like,
the,
I
wireless
was like,
copy.
I don't know about that one.
He had a good line there, though. He's just, he didn't say clever, did he? Or he said smart? Or,
no, he said clever because I yelled clever girl afterwards because I always do.
I was going to say, I thought there was something there. So that's another good Miller quote. It's just clever.
Clever. You banged me, and then you stole my stuff.
Oh, and you kissed another dude right in front of me. And
yeah, no, that was... I think there was some tongue in that.
Oh.
But yeah.
Oh,
so it was... I would watch this over Harry. Sorry, guys.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, at least we disagree on something.
I was going to say. That's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. So, okay, so we did... I got to pick this last one. We did pick 3, where Sam chose Hulu, even though we ended up going through HBO, because we had the add-on. And Tim selected action film, and I selected the number 14. We got Anna, 2019, not Frozen. Okay, so for next week, Sam is up. What category are you hoping for?
I'm just hoping for the wheel to get me something.
I guess I can guarantee you
that.
that.
Going to do its job.
Yeah, exactly.
The wheel is going to do its job, and here it goes. Oh, that beautiful, beautiful clicking noise. Where it stops, nobody knows. Sam, any guesses on what you got for this next podcast?
Before their time. Okay, what is it?
Box office busts.
Yes!
We're going with the Bob, guys. Box office busts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this category.
But yeah, this should be a fun one. Fun one.
All right, well, cool. I'll have to do some research to figure out which bust I want to pick.
Now, box office bust is where the budget was greater than the
ticket sales.
Yeah.
Ticket sales, or it like fail. It didn't meet expectations. So like movies like Justice League, where it did still make box office, it was supposed to make more money.
Oh, so it's considered a bust.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a veto.
Okay.
I'm not watching Cats.
Oh,
I'm not watching.
What if we can get a hold of the butthole version?
The what?
The butthole version. Well, okay, somebody...
I'm not watching Cats. No way am I watching Cats.
Jellico Cats, oh, Jellico Cats. Yeah, that's about all I got for you.
We saw it in theaters.
Oh, yes, we did. Sam was drunk.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
I was not.
But I will spare you, I guess.
For now.
Yeah. Maybe
your
Cats
time
will
is
make
coming.
an appearance when you're not expecting it.
Yeah, once you don't veto it, prepare yourself.
I don't know. You guys have seen it, so that's kind of cheating anyway, right?
You saw Harry.
That's true.
Yeah, but like that was a long time ago. I was a kid,
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
I will look for something other than Cats.
All right. Well, this is going to end us here with Anna 2019 edition by Luke Besson, not Benson. I'm going to get names correct one day. But anyways, thank you for joining us here on Flipper Flix.
Toodles.